thank you.
It's good
great
to
to be
see you
here
again.
again.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here with us.
It's an honor.
Great.
We were talking about just the amazing amount of material in the Supreme Knights report, and it's always good to see so much that is going on throughout the course of the year with the Knights of Columbus. And there's so many things to pick out, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the one of the first things that you mentioned in the report about this great news of the Special Olympics World Games, LA Coliseum, and the special relationship the Knights have had over the years. I can remember as a kid the Tootsie Roll drives as well, and the special relationship you've had with those intellectually disabled people.
Yeah, well, you know, Sergeant Shriver and Eunice Shriver started Special Olympics. Sarge was a proud member of the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah.
I remember fondly being in Dublin for the World Games with him at that time. So yes, and I think it, you know, this is very important because not only is it a message of inclusion, but you really receive a special gift from these kids, right? Because there's an openness, there's a sincerity, there's a transparency. You really know when they're excited, you really know when they're happy. They tell you what they're thinking, and I get a lot being with them, and I think the Brother Knights do, and everybody that participates in it. So it's you know, it's an important thing for us to do.
Yeah, we were talking with Archbishop Kurtz earlier today, and about his special relationship with his brother, and how it was a special day when he became a Brother Knight as well. So yeah, it's great work, and it's good to see that the World Games coming to LA and the Special Olympics in 2015.
I have to congratulate you. I, just humanly speaking, to give that length of an address and to do it and maintain your energy the same in the end as it was in the beginning is astounding. And then to be here with us along Salt and Light and EWTN, appreciate your help to us in getting the word out. And my ears perked up because we have a series on Catholic TV called House and Home. When you mentioned this new initiative about the domestic church, knowing that the state, that the family, and traditional marriage is under. Can you explain a little bit more about this initiative for us?
Well, it's a program that combines family prayer, some catechesis, some scripture reading, some meditation on papal thinking, if you will, with a different theme every month. So, for example, one month is family should be a place of reconciliation and forgiveness and mercy, right? Another month it's family should be a place where there's education, so that the parents really should take the lead in educating their children and what their vocation should be, whether it's to the priesthood or consecrated life or marriage. And so each month there's a theme, and the whole idea of the domestic church is that the family should participate in all of the aspects of the universal church. And so that's what these monthly themes try to do, to draw the family in more to a way in which their life as a family really reflects Christian values and the gospel. Not just at an abstract level, but in sort of an everyday where the rubber hits the road. And so there's also some charitable projects, some social activities. And so we hope that our councils will do this, maybe parishes will adopt it, maybe even some dioceses. But for the Knights, it'll be every month in our monthly magazine, Columbia.
And it's a great way with the Extraordinary Synod of Bishops on the family coming up, and of course the World Meeting of Families coming up in 2015. Now, did you plan so far ahead that you knew the possibility of the Pope coming to Philadelphia, your Supreme Convention coming up next year as well?
No, we weren't. I wish I could say we were that far sighted, but maybe just great minds think alike.
We've been trying today to, if you will, pull the veil away from the Knights of Columbus. Sometimes people have preconceived notions about the Knights, and to show that it is an organization so far reaching in fraternal charity and extends to young people too. And I was particularly impressed by your question near the end of your address. You know, what are we to tell our young people? You know, particularly with regard to conscience. And thank you for that, the Knights' concern for young people, not just young men, but young people, because that is at the heart of who we are as Catholics. to kind of perpetuate the gospel message to those who are young?
Yeah, we have a real challenge there because I think what's happened, especially with the electronic age moving so quickly, is that young people more or less have their own culture now that's built by the entertainment industry with videos. They're texting all the time. They're on the internet. They have their own fashion. They have their own music. And before you know it, there's this whole culture built around their life, which is really very different than what we would say Christian culture ought to be. And so trying to bring the family more into this with a family prayer program, trying to reach out to kids to show them what charity and volunteer service can be, and the other programs we have in terms of sporting events and different things. But I think we really have to try and give almost a top priority to the evangelization of youth, because that's the next generation. I mean, you might say that the church is only one generation away, right? So we have to make sure if we're going to evangelize anybody, we better evangelize our kids. They're right there in our home, right?
And how important it is, as we've seen some pieces by the Knights earlier about the college Knights, Notre Dame. They have the steak sandwich sale and some of the great work that the Georgetown College Knights did with handing out sandwiches to the homeless as well. How important it is to encourage that, and it seems like the college age kids are starting to get the idea anyways, and how important it is to have a chapter of College Knights on campus for people to see.
Well, we try to do what I would call kind of a soft evangelization. So you give young men a place where they can be comfortable with their faith, right? And then you give them projects which almost everybody would say, yeah, that's a good thing that you're doing. And then it's like Pope Francis. See, he's getting people to take a second look at the Catholic Church, because what he's doing things that everybody says, yeah, that's something that should be done, right? That's kind of remarkable that he's doing that. So that's what we have to demonstrate more. See, there's something different here, and it's attractive, and why don't you take a second look? Because it might make a big difference in your life if you do.
So there's even a Francis effect upon the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah, oh, very much. That's why we took his theme on fraternity this year. I think, and we've been doing this, I think really consciously with John Paul II, but it's been my philosophy, maybe, that the church is undergoing a great renewal, right, since the Second Vatican Council. So what's my responsibility? I think my responsibility and an organization's responsibility is not to sit on the sideline and watch the parade go by, say, yeah, they're doing pretty good or they could do better, but to attempt to integrate what we see as that reform within our own organization, within our own life. So, for example, when Pope Benedict has his first encyclical on charity, I mean, wow, an organization dedicated to charity, let's pay attention to what he's saying, maybe it helps us. An organization that's dedicated to fraternity, and we have the Pope speaking about fraternity, we better pay attention. Maybe that can help us. So that's what I think is very important, and I think the Pope is having a great effect. And how do we help him, right? How do we be a part of it? I mean, it would be, to me, it would be a huge sadness if we would have in our lifetime, right? St. John the 23rd, St. John Paul II, a great Pope in Pope Benedict, a wonderful Pope in Pope Francis, and say, you know what? We didn't do anything to help, right?
Yeah.
We didn't do, I mean, we can't do everything, but we could do something,
Sure.
Yeah.
right? What are we going to do to help?
Great joy in these corridors,
yeah.
too, these days. We always love being here because it's a moment of the joy of the gospel in real life, and a lot of that is to the credit of your tremendous leadership.
Well, if I can say, that's one thing about Catholic fraternity. The guys know how to have a good time, right? They work hard, they do a lot of good projects, but at the same time, you know, it's an all-inclusive kind of organization. Where there's a social part, there's a charitable part, there's a faithful part, there's a part about, you know, we got to stand for a few issues around here, and we do all of that. But we also know how to have fun and to, and you can see that when you're walking around here, I think.
Again.
Well, we thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for your
No, thank
leadership
you.
as
Thanks
well.
for being here with us.
Appreciate
Really.
it.
Thanks, Father.
We're
Thank
going
you.
to take actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to a special documentary right now that Knights produced. Francis Pope from the New World, and this is a great video, and it's new this year, and we're actually going to go to that first. We're going to take a quick break and then go to that in just a moment. So we are live here in Orlando, Florida. We're continuing our coverage of the 132nd Supreme Convention, the Knights of Columbus. Please stay with us. We're going to be here all the way through tonight, the State's dinner, so stay with us.